Did you know that private equity has its own math? Like in the world of PE, 2 plus 2 can actually equal 10. And no, this is not a magic trick, and no, I'm not going crazy. It is just a little thing that the pros like to call a roll-up. And this is literally like financially engineering free money. And this is a strategy that we love to use on deals when I was at Blackstone and KKR. And in this video, I'm giving that entire playbook to you. And if you want to do a roll-up, there are 3 essential components to executing on a roll-up. Number 1 is going to be acquisition. Number 2 is going to be consolidation. And then number 3, the exit. I know we're going to dive super deep into all of these. And I know you're probably thinking, Kenny Finance, why the heck have you given us a $1 billion playbook? The same opportunity that exists for the large firms, it also exists for you, local small business buyers. Because if you think about the amount of business owners that are in your area that are retiring, that have nobody to pass the business down to, now's an opportunity. So let's roll them up. So I seriously encourage you to lean into this one and take notes, because this might be my most advanced video that we've ever filmed, because this one is going to have a literal execution playbook of how you can do this and print yourself millions. So I got no time to waste. I'm trying to get this stuff moving. Welcome to the Smart Money class, baby. Let's rock. Welcome to step 1, the acquisition. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, aka my spirit animal, aka my role model, he had one of the famous quotes and perspectives, and he says that most of the money is actually made on the buy of an investment, aka buying cheap or buying undervalued. So how do we apply that concept to making our money on the buy when it comes to our private equity math? And for roll-up specialists, they like to find fragmented industries that are smaller and messier. Now, what does it mean to be a fragmented industry? What that means is that there is an industry that has some type of business model that tends to have a bunch of common lookalikes in a given area or region. Great example, when you look up businesses for electricians, plumbers, pest control, HVAC, these are very fragmented industries because there are a ton of lookalikes in one given specific region. Are they greatly differentiated? Not really. That's why it's kind of fragmented, because ideally only one super big national solution could exist, but instead the industry is fragmented into a bunch of different smaller or mom and pop family owned businesses. So what we want to do as an investor is buy into that fragmented industry. Now, the next logical question is, what are you looking for? You're looking for a business that fits your investment criteria for the first target, aka the first piece of our roll up. And that is typically going to be a smaller business. And, small roll-up players like to find businesses that are between $1 to $2 million of cash flow, but you want to find a business that is growing, that is profitable, that has a good team in place, and has a strong reputation with customers. All because we're doing a roll-up does not mean we want to buy crappy businesses. Every piece of the roll-up has to have a strong, durable business with a clear moat. Now, the next piece is, what are you going to pay? Now, in the world of private equity and investing, we like to think about the price of a business in terms of a multiple. How much of the annual cash flow are we willing to pay to own this business? And usually in this tier of the smaller, messier businesses, they are trading at 3 to 5 times on average of a multiple. What does that 3 times actually mean in practice? That means that if we are buying a $1 million cash flowing business for a 3 times multiple, that means we are paying 1 million times 3 equals 3. So $3 million to purchase that company outright and own that business. And the business is selling for a pretty low price, primarily because likely, number 1, the owner is significantly involved. 2, the operations are pretty messy. 3, the financials are all over the place. 4, they don't have IT. 5, they probably don't have a sales team. So when things are kind of like not plug and play, ready to go for a big private equity firm, you kind of have to pay a cheaper price for that. Why? Because you are inheriting quite a mess to run and operate as an investor and a business owner. So typically the messier ones tend to trade at lower multiples. And I want you to emphasize that point and circle that on your notes, messy, because we're going to revisit that later in this video, because the messy is what unlocks a lot of our value once we clean that up. Okay, so now let's actually build our roll-up. And in this video, we're gonna tangibly, step-by-step, build one together. And this one, we're gonna focus on an industry that everyone loves, and it's like the roll-up specialty, HVAC. Heating, air conditioning, cooling. This is a great recession resilient platform with a bunch of mom and pop family owned businesses to where every city, every state has one, and it's an easy opportunity to roll up. And let's say we are focused on Michigan and we found 3 separate cash flowing HVAC businesses, each doing $2 million of cash flow. And the key is we found one in Detroit, one in Ann Arbor, and another in Grand Rapids. And that's very strategic because we don't want to find 3 that are all just in Detroit because they might be competing with each other. Then we're cannibalizing the business. But instead, we're kind of dominating Michigan. We have the North, we have the Central, and then we have a big college town, right? And that is what matters because now we can then have a Michigan-centric HVAC business. And what do we pay for this? We paid a 3 times multiple for each of these businesses. So for each HVAC business, the one in Grand Rapids, the one in Detroit, and the one in Ann Arbor, we paid 3 times their $2 million of cash flow, so $6 million each to own them. So we paid in aggregate $18 million to build the first leg and stage of our roll-up platform. I kind of need $18 million. Does someone want to give me some money? If you don't, fine, just like the video. Okay, so now that we are HVAC owners of really awesome Michigan businesses, now it leads us to the next step, and that is consolidation. Okay, so during this stage, what we actually want to do is merge and consolidate them all together into one business. So instead of the business in Grand Rapids, Detroit, and Ann Arbor all operating as 3 distinct, separate HVAC businesses, we kind of want to consolidate all of them into one core-centric platform. And there are 3 priorities when we actually consolidate them into this one platform. The first priority is going to be centralizing operations. There is no reason why each of those 3 businesses, once they're all owned by us, why they need to have separately a separate IT team, a separate HR team, a separate sales team, a separate logistics and ERP system. There's no need to have all of that. We can centralize all those back office operations into our one platform. And then also we want to hire a dedicated platform CEO. So they all don't need to have one CEO for each of those regions. A house in Grand Rapids is not that different from a house in Detroit, right? So we need to have one clear leader that runs all of our Michigan operations that can set the strategy and vision and hiring and talent and development for this overall Michigan rolled up HVAC platform. So one CEO, centralized operations. And then the next priority is actually growth. What we want to do is try to find ways to unlock synergies, referrals, introductions across our 3 businesses so that we can grow all 3 of those companies. And then the last priority is reduce costs. However we can improve the margin profile by outsourcing some things to AI, using more tools, or reducing the travel time for our technicians, that is going to help us improve our overall margin profile and cash flow for each of those businesses. So we want to centralize operations, we want to grow each of those businesses, and we want to reduce costs to improve our margins. So what do? We had 3 separate HVAC businesses in Michigan. We consolidated them all into one core platform. We centralized the operations so they all have one IT system, head of HR, head of finance, head of accounting, all that jazz, so that they can focus more on doing better jobs versus the back office functions. And then we hired one central CEO, and that's AJ. And wink, wink, if you know, you know, we all know who AJ is. And then more importantly, we changed the name of the company to Subtastic HVAC. That's a pretty cool name, right? But in all seriousness, this is the home of all smart money moves. And if you haven't subbed to the community yet, like, I don't know what you're doing. Everyone in here is a shred lord. Like, our focus, my focus, is to take everything that I learned on Wall Street at Blackstone KKR and give it and package it away to you all on this channel completely for free. And I think everyone should have the resources and the knowledge to go out and make smart financial decisions, to buy businesses, to grow their operations, to build generational wealth. And I love this stuff. And if this is your first time watching and subbing to the channel, welcome to the fam. And if you're returning, welcome back, legend. But look, for everyone, you can call 1-800-SUBTASTIC HVAC to buy HVAC services from our Michigan HVAC rolled up platform. I'm serious. But during this season of consolidation, we also want to grow the business. So we have centralized operations that are back office functions. We have AJ as the CEO. They were all each doing $2 million of cash flow, but we had a growth strategy to start sharing referrals and start doing introductions and having channel partners. So now, over the course of a few years of us owning the business, each of those 3 regions, now they're not separate businesses, they're just regions of one business. Now they're each doing $3 million of cash flow. So now our Subtastic HVAC Michigan platform, instead of doing in total $6 million of cash flow, now it's doing $9 million of cash flow. Now we're cooking. And that leads us to our next stage of executing on this roll-up playbook, and that is the exit. Now this is where things get quite magical. So after we've bought the 3 distinct businesses, we consolidated them into one central platform, we hired a central CEO, and we've grown the businesses, we kind of got to part our ways now and make our money back. So it's time to exit and sell the business. Now let's think about it. Are we selling 3 distinct separate businesses and having 3 separate transactions now? No, it's all one, Subtastic HVAC. But then also, are we selling, as I mentioned earlier in the video, a decentralized, disconnected, unsynergistic, messy business? No, not really. We cleaned up operations. We centralized all of the back office, non-essential revenue generating things into like one core platform. We have a very talented CEO that has a very strong strategic vision. We've executed on growth and grown each of those regions by $1 million of cash flow each. So it's, at least in my eyes, not messy anymore. We kind of have a scaled, clean, regional platform. Ooh, that's nice. So how much are we going to get when we sell it? So if we bought all of these that were messy at 3 times, when we sell it, are we going to be able to sell it for 3 times? I mean, that would be cool. Like, we'll make some money, but nah, we're not in the business of selling it at the same multiple. Like, we put a lot of work in to clean up the operations, to centralize operations, and to grow this thing. So now, in my point of view, I think we can sell this platform for maybe 10 times because it's a bigger, better, faster, cleaner looking operation. So this is where the magic actually kicks in the private equity math. So we bought 3 businesses that did $2 million of cash flow each at a 3 times multiple. So spent $18 million. Now we have one core, central, clean, not messy, really cool AJ ran business that is doing $9 million of cash flow, and we can sell it for 10 times. And 9 times 10 is $90 million. And if we think about our return on investment, we made 5 times our money. Nice! Look, if you made it this far in the video, you are definitely gonna make it far on the road, because like, this is stuff that like behind closed doors, smart financiers, private people know, right? Like this, I love this stuff, it's so nice. So we made 5 times our money. And you probably think, Kenny, you are definitely capping a HVAC platform can't sell for 10 times. No, check the stats. Look at this report from a banker that looked at the average trading multiple of like larger HVAC businesses in America. That, my friends, is like 10, 15 times plus multiples for some of these really, 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 really big ones. So our regional cleaned up operation can at least catch high single digits to 10 times. Oh yeah, by the way, there's this business called Redwood Services, and I wanted to show you something. So they own a bunch of HVAC businesses across America. They were sold earlier this year for $1.1 billion. Yeah, get to rolling up. And that 5 times multiple that we made on our money, that's actually warranted, because if you think about the effort and the work that it put in to execute on that platform, that was a crap ton of work. If you think about it, we spent months studying all the different industries of what we could potentially invest in, and we landed on HVAC. We then looked at the entire fragmented landscape in Michigan to find the 3 best businesses that we could acquire. We worked really good to source those companies, build a relationship with the owners, and convince them that we are the best owner of those businesses. And then once we owned them, we inherited 3 separate messes where we had to centralize operations, fix all the different messy IT systems. They had 3 different accounting systems across each of those businesses. They had 3 semi-incompetent CEOs that we need to let go and hire AJ to run everything and improve operations. And we did all that and grew the EBITDA for $1 million each across each of those businesses. That's not an easy thing to do. So we kind of deserved it. And now I know this sounds like incredibly difficult, super advanced, and I just summarized like 25,000 hours worth of investing experience into like 2 minutes. So don't expect yourself to be an expert on this like immediately. This is a great starting point. But if you're serious about learning how to buy businesses, how to find them, how to execute on that, how to finance deals, how to source deals, all that jazz, check out this ebook that I put together for you guys. It's completely for free, and it's like 10, 15 pages, easy reading, and I added like some pretty graphics. But I outlined step by step how to find, diligence, and buy businesses. So if you're interested in that, hit me on DM and type in HVAC so that I know that you're coming for this ebook, and I'll send you guys a link to download that ebook. But it's like super worthwhile, it's super useful, it doesn't cost any money, but it just teaches you exactly what I know on paper about finding and buying businesses. So check that out. And in that ebook, we actually talk about different multiples of what to expect to pay when buying different businesses. And in our example of Subtastic HVAC, you're probably wondering like, how the heck and why are we earning a 10 times multiple when we bought it at 3 times? Like, that is a huge disconnect. What has changed? Two things considerably have changed, actually. Number one, the business is just better. It's larger, it's centralized. You're probably sick of me saying centralized, but it is just an entirely different company now. So that's the first piece. Now, the second piece, not a lot of folks know about this, but you've unlocked a next tier of buyer for your platform. Because in private equity, there are people that love HVAC, but they don't have the resources to buy these super small HVAC companies. Like, take this for example. Say that you were a $1 billion private equity fund manager and you needed to buy HVAC businesses. If you have $1 billion, are you then going to buy 200 $5 million HVAC companies and have to manage the mess of 200 companies? No, not at all. Why? Because it is going to be a mess to manage 200 different businesses. And that forces you to have a minimum investment per fund. So if they have a $1 billion fund, odds are the minimum investment is likely going to be like a $50 to $100 million minimum check before they invest in a company, because they want to make it worth their while and worth their time to own a business. So when we were looking at our businesses originally, there weren't large private equity players looking at these small $2 million cash flowing HVAC businesses. It was just kind of us and smaller searchers and smaller investors. But now that we have theoretically value-wise, a $90 million HVAC business, we can go to that private equity buyer and say, hey, we now have a Michigan regional dominant HVAC business called Subtastic HVAC, and we're looking to sell this for $90 million. And I think that hits your minimum check threshold. And next thing you know it, they are actually excited to own a platform that's clean, that's centralized, again, and that is within their minimum check size. So now, because we've grown the business, we've consolidated, we have unlocked that next tier of buyer that can afford time-wise to purchase our platform. Voila. So now that we know the playbook of step-by-step how to execute on a roll-up, what are those good markets that we can actually invest in to perform a roll-up? Now, everyone's favorite kind of almost overpopulated roll-ups include HVAC, electricians, plumbers, etc. These are strong, recession-resilient platforms. They're literally everywhere. A lot of them are smaller and messy, and if you can execute on centralizing and cleaning those up, you can get a good multiple arbitrage. But I like to find fragmented industries that not a lot of folks are swimming in. And one of my favorite is actually this industry called biohazard cleanup. And these are the folks that go in and clean up after crime scenes. You can imagine what that's like, right? And in this market, there are some larger players, but there are also so many smaller, fragmented mom and pop shops. And for my holding company, these are one of our priority themes to try to pursue investments and try to build a roll-up in. And if you are someone that magically knows a biohazard cleanup mom and pop family-owned business, DM me, send me the information. I'll pay you $1,000 if you end up buying the business. I'm serious. And I love this space not only because of the fragmented nature of the industry, but also because of how recession resilient it is. Regardless if we are in good times or bad times, you have to clean up after a crime scene. Like, it's mandatory. And what's super cool is we did some sourcing and actually found a local biohazard cleanup business here in California. And in this next video, I was able to spend 24 hours with them to meet the owner, to study the operations. I even put on hazmat suits. And if you're interested in doing behind the scenes and seeing how I did diligence on this investment, check out the next video. And if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you guys do us a huge favor and smash that like button. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.